Good morning, everyone. It's Elliot, and today I am launching FDMFrost.com, and I am launching my YouTube video blog, which I'll post the link below. I want to welcome you to this journey with me. I have been on the fence about going full on public with my transition. Employment related concerns and also um, some awkwardness throughout my transition. I was embarrassed to share with folks, but I think you deserve the full picture. And transition isn't the same for everyone. So I didn't have these sort of resources available to me when I was first uncovering my gender and when I was young. So I want to be that for someone else. So I hope that you will utilize those resources. My blog is going to talk about everything from what to buy to how to dress for a femme, fat, older body to what to expect, some things that I have uncovered about how society relates to me now versus how they did before. Whether you're cis or trans, I think it's important to consider how gender impacts your life and how it may or may not have pigeonholed you into doing, acting, or thinking certain ways. So I think that that journey of uncovering your gender and uncovering where it comes from is important for everyone to sort through. Um, I am going to talk about emotional, physical changes on T, talk about sort of the obstacles that I faced on my top surgery, talk about the ways my vocal changes has impacted me or others. Um, there's a lot to dive into, so I hope that you will give me feedback on what you want to see, what you want to read, and I will try to meet your desires and your needs. So I hope you'll check those resources out. Today I just wanted to touch base on emotional changes throughout my transition, and I've had some questions to that regard. So I first want to be upfront that I have anxiety and depression, and I have always had anxiety and depression. And taking testosterone, though it gave me tools to deal with anxiety and depression, and gave me um, a sort of level starting space to uncover how to cope with those things. It did not take away anxiety and depression. So please do not think that if you take testosterone that you're going to become this completely different person and you won't have to deal with being a better person, because it's just not true. Um, so when I not that anxiety and depression make you a bad person, of course, but certainly your behaviors and how you cope with them can impact how others perceive you. So, um, I testosterone. I was worried when I started that it was going to cause me to be this, ferocious tornado that I was told some trans men become. It did not do that for me. Um, I think that testosterone, if it is right for you, will level you. It certainly leveled me. My emotions are less high and low than they used to run. Um, in general, I think that I am an easier person to be around. However, one emotion that I had never previously felt before taking testosterone that I feel often, not always, but often now, is anger. Anger used to be what I thought of as anger, used to be just this fleeting frustration that would eventually morph into overwhelming sadness. Um, I do not feel sad hardly ever anymore. Um, I can feel sad, but I don't linger on sadness the way that I used to before testosterone. But I do sometimes have boiling anger that I have to find a constructive way to sort out. Um, and honestly, it sometimes doesn't take much to put me into boiling anger. Um, I have been around folks who are scary when they're angry before, and I have made a very conscious decision to not become one of those people. So I've had to reestablish boundaries. And sometimes the people in my life don't like the boundaries that I set, but they're nevertheless important. So I have found ways to enforce my boundaries and inform the people around me when they can expect to continue a conversation. So, when I feel boiling anger that causes me to want to punch a wall or throw something or scream obscenities, obviously I do not do those things. Um, but I need to enforce alone time. I need to enforce moments of quiet, or I need to enforce um, stepping away. So, the way that I do that is I say, I am overwhelmed and overstimulated. I'm feeling angry. I need to step away from this conversation. I don't think I'm going to need very long, or I think I'm going to need a little while. When would you like me to revisit this with you? So give them a little bit of power. I don't try to take away all of their power. Um, but you need to set your boundary. So when I step away, I say I'm going to go into the other room for a little while. Um, is an hour an okay time to revisit this? And they'll say yes or no. But give them a little bit of power. And if they don't want you to step away, if they're trying to force you to engage, too bad. They don't get to push that on you. So you can compromise a little bit, but you need to establish boundaries, and you need to be really firm about what those are, and you need to be mindful and self-aware of when you're at that boiling point. Um, I don't feel sadness anymore, and I think the people in my life are relieved about that, to be honest, because it used to manifest as crying. I used to just cry and cry, and it wouldn't sometimes take much to make me cry. It used to just take being embarrassed or feeling frustrated to make me cry. And I think that there were people in my life who perceived that as manipulative. It didn't feel that way in my intent, um, but it doesn't really matter how it felt in my intent. It mattered how it was perceived. So I actually think that the people in my life would much prefer my go away and be angry for half an hour than they would have preferred my 2 hour teary fit. Um, that I think is a product of depression and anxiety. I'm finally at a point in my testosterone journey where I am getting involved in therapy again, and getting the right meds to help me with my mental health situation, because I have a much clearer idea of what that is now that I've taken testosterone than I did pre-testosterone. Um, so that has been really exciting for me to be able to delve into and uncover. Um, but this misnomer that trans men start taking testosterone and then become unbearable is just false. Um, they would only become that way if they were already like that. Uh, I have heard a lot that taking tea is your second puberty, and in some ways it is. Certainly, your body is going through a version of puberty, but it's a lot different than your first puberty for a couple of reasons. One, because it's the right puberty, right? So the first time you went through puberty, it probably manifested really poorly because your body was developing in ways that felt foreign to you. This time, my body was developing in ways that felt good, that felt the natural way that they should have developed. Um, so this puberty felt as good as puberty is supposed to feel, I think. Um, it certainly causes a fluctuating emotional time. It's different the second time around because first of all, you know what to expect. You know what puberty felt like the first time. Second of all, you have the maturity of an adult. Particularly if you're like me and you transition a little older. So you have the experiences and the maturity of an adult, and you can be more self aware about your emotions in the moment and how you're interacting with those emotions. Um, it's also in one level a little harder because your body is going through menopause and puberty at the same time. So my agitation with heat this summer has been hard because I'm having hot flashes at the same time that I'm going through puberty and being cooped up during COVID in a hot third floor condo. But you work through those come up and you work through them. There have certainly been things about testosterone that have been frustrating. I've had the acne, that's resolving now, but it was certainly a problem for a long time. My skin was just unbearable for a couple of months. Um, I lost my voice for a little while, not just. I mean, I had my speaking voice, but I lost my ability to sing at all for like 3 months. Not just sing poorly, but literally sing. I literally couldn't sing Old MacDonald or Happy Birthday at all. So that was really scary, for a few months. And there are things that come up that nobody talks about. So that's what this what this blog is for. That's what these videos are for. Um, and I hope that this gives you a sort of a piece of what kinds of things we'll be talking about. Certainly, if you have questions about emotional changes on tea, I hope you'll put them in the comments. And I'll see you again soon. Just a quick note before I sign off that I used to address my crowd as guys, gals, and NB pals, and I won't be doing that going forward. I've learned that the word NB can be infantilizing. I think I said that word. To some non-binary folk. I'm non-binary. Um, I'm a non-binary trans man. But I recognize that that word can be problematic, and I won't use it anymore. But I just wanted you to know why I did and I don't now. So I hope you're well. Drink water. Eat food. Take care of your bodies. Do something active. Love on yourself a little bit. Forgive yourself a little bit. And, you know, go forth. Take care.